Um, Shari Hartz, I will start by saying I look to her as a very talented and wonderful teacher extraordinaire. I really believe that she has gifts that she's sharing with us, and we appreciate her efforts today. And she teaches uh, communication classes at several universities, and she is a certified and clinical um, hypnotherapist and life coach from America's Academy. She was one of the original people that started the Colorado Association of Psychotherapists, and we are just wonderful to be guests of hers today.
Well, thank you, Carolyn. I appreciate that. And Carolyn actually has participated in some of my goal setting in the past. It's been one of my things I've done with people. I looked back and I had at least stuff back from 2013 in terms of doing goal setting with my friends and family. So this is kind of a thing that I'm a little bit passionate about in terms of what we're kind of able to create by being really intentional about how we create things in our world. So um, that's what I have in there for you. And I did include some files there. Um, and let me see if I can grab that link again for the Google Drive. So if you guys want some files, this is like the PowerPoint and um, general information anyway, so you guys can get a sense of what we're doing and how we're working on it. I just give you guys my PowerPoint. There is no reason for me to hold that information back from you. So just know that we have that information there for you as well. Okay, let me go ahead and just share my screen here. We'll do a little bit of PowerPoint along um, with the presentation, just so that you guys have a little something to hold the content. And let me share screen. So thank you guys. I'm glad you're here for a little goal setting action here. Now, do you guys do a lot of goal setting yourselves? Have you guys already done the goal setting and now they've already fallen off and now you have to do it again? Because that seems like that's one of the things that ends up happening for a lot of people as well. Like, oh no, I don't know what I'm doing. Life has fallen off. It's all good. It's all good. All right. So what we're going to do with the PowerPoint here is I want to talk you guys specifically through CAP first, so that you kind of know what this organization is. If you guys have an opportunity and you're interested in giving donations to the organization, you'll see I have a link inside the PowerPoint that you guys can do that with, or if you are a member, then that would be awesome. We would love to have you working with us going forward. You know, we have had to make some changes in our time because we were originally more of a lobbying organization, and because of some of the changes that happened through time, we're shifting ourselves to more of an educational organization uh, because some of the laws have changed, and it's going to be really difficult for us to fight that information back. And the big thing that's happened with that as well is that we're not really able to bring in new unlicensed psychotherapists into the organization. Those of us who are part of that are grandfathered in, and if we lapse that, then we lose it and we can't get back in. So then, yeah, and then they charged a lot of money for it this last year, which was not very nice either. But there we go. So here's the thing. You guys are doing this. We're doing this as a lab. So this is not really a lecture. We're going to talk about it. We're going to reflect, write, notice, and then this is a repeatable process. So what you guys will find out also is that I did create this as a course. It's going to go into a little bit more detail. You got more background. I'm not going to cover all the steps here today just because I can't in an hour and a half. But the actual course doesn't take you that long. It depends on how big of a writer you are in terms of how much detail you go into. And the thing about this is we don't really set goals in a vacuum. What we do is we want to recognize what's happening in our life, in our world in that moment, and find the way that we can support ourselves best in working through that. So what we're going to talk about first here, and if you guys look at the little worksheet, you'll see that this is part of those top ideas that you want to name your season. So what's happening for you in your life right now? We have people that are in different stages. So we've got someone that's a lot of the students I work with in college, they're just starting out their careers, they're going through school, they're trying to look forward to having whatever that life is going to be that once they complete their degree. I have those people. Then you have the people that are in the in-between stage, and maybe they're building a family and they have small kids and they have a spouse and they're trying to work on their career and they're doing all these things and getting pulled in a million different directions. Or we might have somebody that's, done with that being part of their career and then maybe moving into retirement. Now we have to think about a new way of life. What does that look like? Right? So we have all these different seasons that we can be in. And the idea is that you want to recognize the season that you're currently in. So you might take just a moment to recognize that and orient it and discuss maybe what that might be. The big thing that we're looking for here is this is not about judging. This is not about creating rules and expectations. This is just recognizing what is without any judgment, right? I'm going to use an example. You'll find out through all the times that I do these classes in the different areas, I use different types of examples. So you guys will get a chance to see what they look like. So our example that we're going to use today is someone who has kids that are starting in school. Their person's building the career. Their schedules are really full. They're feeling really stretched. They're going on a lot of different directions. And then the next step would be to set an intention. So how do you want to meet this season? What would it look like if you were matching yourself up to that season? This isn't really a demand. We're not trying to fix something. We're just recognizing it and figuring out which way you want to go. A direction for you might be how you want to deal with it. So maybe I want to have peace and calm in my life. Maybe I want to create a little bit more clarity. Maybe I want to create more focus. If you're just surviving because there's so much going on, that's probably going to be a different place, again, than somebody that's maybe in their retirement age, right? That's going to be a really different location. So maybe with the person that is in the situation might want to feel more grounded so they can prepare to handle life and its particular situations. So think of an example for you. What kinds of things might you want to focus on with this intention? Now, you're not going to do any planning yet. We're not doing any of those pieces. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be activating our imagination. And the activation of our imagination is really going to go into doing a kind of a visualization. This visualization is designed to go into the past. We're going to go back about a year, and then we're going to go into the future a year. So that way we get an opportunity to get pulled into our future, but also recognize this past and what worked for us in the past. So those are the two pieces or two sides of the coin that we're going to be looking at in this process. All right. So you ready for a little relaxation?
Yes.
Yes. All right, let's do it. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and get yourself in a comfortable position. If you want, you can have the camera off. However you want to do that, however feels comfortable for you. But get yourself in a comfortable position. We'll do a little bit of relaxation here as we go. And one of the things I always say when we're doing this kind of relaxation is to, first of all, kind of get yourself settled into your body and feel your body. Let yourself relax. Get yourself comfortable. And I like to use breath just because it's something that we do naturally, but if we pay attention to it, we're able to ground ourselves a bit more and our autonomic nervous system will kick in and we're able to calm our body down by taking long, slow, deep breaths. So if you can take some long, slow, deep breaths and just breathe all the way down into your lower abdomen. And just allow yourself to relax. And just feel the seat beneath you, whatever's supporting your body. Allow yourself to relax and taking those long, slow, deep breaths. And know that you can make the decision to close your eyes at any time. And if it's more comfortable for you to leave them open, that's perfectly fine as well. It's really important that you give yourself lots of permission to experience things rather than holding them tight and having high expectations about what things look like. And we're going to go back now, and we're going to go back to the beginning of 2025 and thinking about ringing in the new year and what that was like, all of the celebration and excitement for the new year, and maybe assess kind of where you were at that time. Notice where you were, what were some of the things that you were thinking you want to achieve in that next year. And allow yourself to kind of move forward through that 2025 and just notice some of the benchmarks and things that may have happened to you during that period of time. What were some of the things that occurred? What were some of the events? And notice if there were things that you had to change, things that happened that forced you to change, those experiences that really influenced you. And some of them might be positive, and some of them might be negative. But our job here is just to be present and notice. And you move through the year and just notice what happened, those experiences, things that you had to let go of, and new things you had to embrace. How did your thoughts change? Were there thoughts that you had to let go of and some you needed to embrace again in order for you to move forward with whatever was happening for you at that moment? And arriving back now as you complete that process to the present again and look back over that year. Think about again all those things that you embraced, those things you released, those things, those thoughts and experiences. And do this with such grace and ease. There isn't any judgment here. It's just noticing. It's just being aware of and noticing what happened. Were there things that were left unfinished? Things that you kept pulling at you? Now, again, acknowledge that version of who you were with compassion. And know that you did the best that you could with information and experience that you had. And now, as you notice what is pulling you now. What's the experience that is giving you pause or guiding you forward or something that's calling to you? It feels important, even if you don't have words for it yet. Just be aware of what that might be. Know that whatever's happening right now isn't permanent. This just happens to be the current experience or season that you're in right now. Take some deep breaths. Because we're going to move forward into the future now. Now I want you to imagine yourself out 1 year. 2026 is complete and you're in 2027 and you're looking back over your life for that year. And maybe things happened in this version, things aren't perfect, right? Not everything might have changed, but we had some things that were meaningful that maybe shifted. I want you to imagine moving into an ordinary day in the future. Imagine that, again, just maybe waking up in that day and notice your surroundings. Notice how you feel. How does your body feel? Is there something that seems lighter and easier for you now? How are you experiencing that breath? And in this version, you've made some intentional changes over this year. You've done some things in your life. And as you look back over that year, you'll notice some shifts and changes that you made, some things that you've done differently. Notice how you hold your body. Is it different from the way that you held your body last year? Notice your posture. Notice how it feels. Now, think about now looking back, what were some of those intentional changes? What mattered to you the most as you look back over 2026? This is about making the change, being supportive and having clarity and really working on practicing the information as you go forward. And consider any changes. What changes did you have to make? What beliefs did you embrace? What beliefs did you let go of? What celebrations did you have? What did you enjoy? All right, take a deep breath. And another. And move yourself back to the present. Now, as you're in that present time, I want you to again notice all of those things that you're pulling in from the future, recognizing those things that you left incomplete from the past, and being a little bit more clear maybe about what you want to focus on in this next year. Now, in our process today, we're not going to be focusing on every section of your life. We're going to focus in on doing a really good job on setting one good goal and intention and taking that one all the way through. All right, when you're ready, take a deep breath, bring yourself back into your body, wiggle your fingers and your toes, take a stretch, drink a drink of water. Opening your eyes, feeling back in your body. Okay, and I apologize. I have kittens, so they were playing with things here. So my apologies for the extra noise if you guys heard any. Did anyone want to share anything from that part?
Yeah, it was. Thanks for giving us some time to pause, go inside, and have this experience.
Oh, good.
Wonderful.
I'm
Yeah.
glad you enjoyed it. So if you take a look at the worksheet, it's going to give you a little bit of information you guys might be able to take a look at on there. Let me see. I don't think I had this set up for you guys to see my screen, but so we talked about that first part, naming the season and really focusing in on what you wanted to shift, what feels unsettled, kind of being intentional about what you wanted for that season of your life. And then right now, under activate your imagination, it says one thing I'm proud of from this last year. So what did you accomplish that you're proud of that you maybe made it through or you experienced in that last year that you want to celebrate, you want to recognize? One area that still wants support, and then imagine yourself a year from now, what feels different? So think of those areas and what might you experience as different here? Okay. So once we've done that, now we kind of want to narrow in on what we want to focus in on right now. So if we were to define something that we want to achieve, see if you guys can come up with it. So in our example, the example is reduce nervous system overload. So let's imagine us going through and maybe coming up with that thing that's pulling me. If I'm exhausted from taking care of kids and doing all these things, then I might be feeling overwhelmed and I need to calm that down. So that might be where this person is. Where are you at? What would be best for you in terms of your intention to focus in on? Again, we're not focusing on everything. We're focusing in on a priority, something that we want to take care of or we want to encourage. I'm just going to shift the focus here a little bit. Okay, so let's imagine now that we've come up with that. And what I'd like you to do is I want you to think about something that you can work on that's going to support that. So here in our example, we have this person coming up with some ideas. What they're going to do is they're going to maybe pause daily without input. hold on just a second. Let me see if I can get the cat moving along. There we go. Ending my day earlier. So maybe I go till 5:30 each day. I'm going to stop each day at 5 o'clock instead. Reduce evening screen stimulation. So maybe I'm going to turn off the TV or any kind of screen information an hour before I go to sleep. Creating a transition ritual between roles. So as I stop working, maybe I have rules. So I know that some people will do things on their desk, like they will line things up on their desk and set it up so the next morning they're ready to go back in and take that on the next day. Or maybe you do something where you turn off the light, or you only do your work in one room if you guys are at home, or if you go to work at a specific location and you're leaving that location, then you can do a ritual to allow yourself to close that door and leave that at home and then go home and be with your family or whatever. Limiting news or social media. So these are just some examples. You might have other examples, right? So you're going to focus in on what's right for you. These are just for someone that might be overstimulated. What would be best for you? Now, what's going to happen is you're going to actually take a look at the behaviors and you're going to list them. And there's two areas I want you to focus on. I want you to focus on the behavior. I want you to look at ease. I want you to look at impact. So I'll have to put that back on these again in the future, but it's okay. So we're going to pick this up and I'm going to look at the ones that we chose here. Now on this one, it says pause daily with no input. For me, I wrote down, oh, that's going to be high. It's going to be easy for me to do. And it's going to be impactful for me to do. So I'm going to move the lever more if I do this particular behavior. Ending early in the day, I said that's medium ease, but the impact again is high. And then reducing evening screen time, that's medium and medium. Transitions between ritual and role is high but medium. And then limiting new social media roles is low but high. So what I'm kind of looking for is something that's going to be easy for me to do and it's going to have a big impact. So I'm going to choose this top one right up here at the top. All right. So now we're going to figure out the behavior. Did somebody have a question? Okay, very good. So now what are you going to do? How is this going to happen? And how does this matter emotionally? So this is actually practicing in the course that, the free course I have, if you guys are interested in doing it, it goes into all the SMART, S-M-A-R-T-E. This one's going to do a brief SMART. We're doing this brief SMART on this one. What I will do, when it will happen, and why this matters emotionally. Now, this idea of emotionality is something I've added to SMART. So it's a SMART goal. It usually stands for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timely, and I add the E, and the E stands for emotion. So what they found out is that emotion is really going to be what's going to motivate us to move forward. If we have that element of motivation and those things that we care about, it's going to make it easier for us to want to process that information. So that's kind of what we want to carry forward. So take a second and then choose, again, a behavior in your life that's going to focus in on a specific intention. What's that small behavior could support this intention, and the behavior you're choosing you want to focus on right now. So see what you can come up with. And then I want you to recognize, again, maybe the ease. So let's take a pause here and let you work on this piece. So let's look at the behaviors, write them down, mark if they're easy or hard. So is it high ease or low ease, impact, or how much it's going to move the lever, high or low. So make sure you get that piece done first. And then once you get that done, take that into the step 5. How will I practice it? Where will this happen? And why does it matter to you? All right, looks like some of you guys are done. Does that sound about right? Okay, perfect. All right. So again, I'm not going to go through the full SMART with you guys, but I want to talk through some other elements that I think are really important. So the M in SMART, it recognizes measurable, and part of what we want to do is maybe track or at least reflect back on the information that we're looking at. So as we go through and we have our experiences and we do our thing, right? I want to make sure that I'm doing something to track it. So this could be like a hash mark, right? Did I do it today or did I not do it today? It could be maybe journaling and writing the information down so that you could talk about what that experience was like. Journaling can be really beneficial in this context because what we want to do is we really want to get a sense of how well it's working, because that's going to feed into the next piece that we're going to look at. So be kind of clear about the tracking, how you want to measure it, how consistent you want to do it. Those elements kind of end up being important. And then I'm going to go through this process and I'm going to use course correction. So the analogy that's good to use here is either someone that's flying a plane or sailing a boat, right? What's going to happen for that person is as they're flying the plane, it's not necessarily going to be a straight line from here to there. Sometimes they have weather and they have winds and they have all these things that they have to adjust for. And so they have to do course correcting. And there isn't anything wrong with course correcting. It's a natural thing for us to do. We just want to be maybe more intentional about the course correcting as we go. So what I want to do is maybe do this behavior for maybe 14 to 21 days. And I'm going to check in on it, and maybe I'll do a daily check-in on it. I want to just think about it when I go to bed. How did I feel about that today? How did that go? But maybe do a more formal check-in maybe at 14 and 21 days and say, all right, so how do I feel this was going? What do I need to change to make this better? What might I shift? Is there something I need to do completely differently? Maybe where I feel like I've done okay with that goal, but I want to focus on another one. So maybe I create a different goal I want to focus in on the next 14 days. So I'm kind of looking at my information and I'm going to maybe repeat the cycle and go back through and choose a different behavior I want to focus in on. Or maybe I continue with this one or I stack them. So that means I've already got this one running and I'm doing this behavior. Now I'm going to add to it. So in habits training, they talk about stacking things. And one of the things they talk about when they're stacking is that it's not just I'm finding a behavior I do consistently and I'm adding another behavior to it. So I'm a walker. I started walking in May of 2020 and I walk outside. I think I've missed 3 days and I had 2 days I walked airport concourses instead of walking outside. And that was just because of the weather. And then I got my dog Roxy. So Roxy walks with me. We do about 3 miles and we walk. And walking is meditative for me. So if I'm going to find a way to get it done. Someone said, well, what happens if you don't have time? I said, I make time. I find a way to get it done because it's important to me. So what I have a tendency to do is I figure out when I'm going to do it based on the temperature outside and stuff like that. I'm going to figure out when I'm going to do it, and I plan everything else around it. So to me, it's that important. So me walking outside, it's meditative. It gets my body moving. I do it consistently every day. That's my thing, right? So if I wanted to add another habit to it, I might add it before or after that one because it's very strong for me. If you brush your teeth, that's a great place to do it because you brush your teeth every day. I might add a habit to that behavior because I do it every day. If you get up like Carol Ann and drink coffee, the coffee drinker. I'm not a coffee drinker, so I don't have that behavior. But when you get up in the morning and you have the coffee, you might do another behavior at that time. Maybe that's when you journal and you figure out, how you feel about what you're doing that day or whatever. Okay. So we think about those things when we do habits and habit stacking. Those are things that we're going to kind of do and we think about as we go through. All right. So you've named a season. You have kind of a clear intention. You picked a supportive behavior, and you now have enough to begin. So, so I do have this other class. If you guys would like to participate in it, I have it available to you. It's for free, so you don't have to pay any money for it. It just goes into this process a little bit more detailed as you go through. Let me see if I can find this other piece here for you guys real fast. I might have to share differently. I want to show you this piece as well. And I want to show you the full process. So I'm going to change my share here in just a second. I forgot to give you guys this one. So, okay, so let me stop sharing for a second. It's up here. Okay, so this is the worksheet you guys have been using. This is the method. So if you go through the fuller class, you'll see that this has a lot of the same pieces that we have here in terms of resetting intention, doing an activation. It's a different visualization than what I used for you guys today. The ideas are the same, but I did it in a different way. I spend more time on brainstorming the behaviors, choosing the focus, going on the SMART, doing the tracking and reflecting, the course correcting, and repeat when ready. So I just spend more time on these steps. It actually doesn't take that long to complete the course. My brother doesn't like worksheets, so he went through it himself, and it took him about an hour and 25 minutes without doing a lot of worksheet stuff. So it doesn't take a long time to do this. And then I also included some additional information here if you guys want to look at some other intentions. These would be some other things just to think through as you're focusing on your goals. And then here's some examples. This one's looking at a healthy relationship with food. This is the example I use in the course. So I'm trying to use different examples for things so that you guys can see what they look like. And then there's what SMART looks like. And then this is, again, check-ins and milestones that I talk about more in the course. So, and then this one's letting go of outdated expectations. So if you are still going with what the rules are for the past and you don't live that life anymore, then you might want to let go of some of those outdated expectations and go in a different direction. So this is the other handout I gave you guys. So I'll slide this one in there for you as well. But I wanted you guys to see I had given you at least a couple of different examples that you can look at in terms of pulling that information together. Let's see if I can get you guys this one. Okay, so let me pause here and just see what kind of questions you guys have. If you have questions, maybe we can help hone in on any of the specific ones that you've chosen, and then we can figure out what we need to do next.
Shari,
Yes,
is it rewired or rewind intention process?
rewired.
Rewired. Okay, thanks.
I'm really pulling some information in here from the research that's kind of helping to determine what we're doing here in terms of how I'm focusing in on the information and why I pulled these particular steps out in order to focus on. Did it go okay with choosing your intention and choosing the behaviors? Did that feel pretty natural for you? Okay. All right. And then when so there's inside the PowerPoint, this is the online class. Let me see if I can kick myself out here and get you the class information. And there is the link to the course information. So let me share this. Are you guys seeing my PowerPoint again? Okay. And then I wanted to again just bring up Colorado Association of Psychotherapists. We have board meetings the second Friday of every month, and you guys are welcome to join us for those. Usually we do training after, but we don't currently have anything scheduled for January. There's the link there for the website as well. I'll slide that in there for you guys as well. It doesn't want to take me back to the PowerPoint. Okay, there we go. Okay. All right. So is there anything that were the examples enough, or did you guys want some more examples that we want to maybe take some time to look through? I planned more time for this and then I went really fast, so my apologies.
Could you send me the link to when you post this on the association website, Shari?
You want me to send you a link when I post it?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. This ends up being I was doing this specifically for CAP. So if this ends up being something you're going to go back and review, I turn these into blogs. So I post the video that we created at the top in YouTube, and then I convert that over and I take the text, I convert it into a blog. So the video ends up being at the top of the page, and then the blog is written underneath it, just outlining some of the steps and information that's covered in here. And I use AI to do it, so it makes my life easier. I am an AI person. I use it heavily, but it makes my life a lot easier. All right. So I think that's the big stuff. I was planning on going an hour and a half, but I finished it sooner. So if you guys are feeling pretty good about that, any other questions or anything else I might be able to clarify for you? I think go ahead.
No, I just want to thank you for your presentation.
Oh, you're welcome.
And yeah, for all you do to keep CAP going.
I appreciate that, David. I appreciate that. Yeah, David's one of the presentations that we recently did and turned into a blog. So you guys can find his also on the website. If you look on the homepage of the CAP website, you'll see him listed over there on the side. And David did the presentation a couple months ago. Carol O'Dowd did hers presentation last month on elderly and that stuff. Thanks, Lori. Yeah, so I hope that's going to be helpful for you guys going forward. Again, I think one of the challenges people have is that when they make really lofty, big goals, and then they don't achieve them. And I think the thing is to take a step back and maybe don't make it so big And in the past, when I've done this, I'm like, we're looking at all the main areas of your life and all these things. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a lot to look at. And I think if you focus in, choose one or two that you focus in on, and then add more if you want to add more when you're ready, I think you'll have better luck getting this, not luck, better actual achievement of getting that stuff done. You're welcome, Rhonda. You're welcome. You'll have better luck getting that stuff achieved so that you don't feel like you're overwhelmed. Because I think that's a big piece when achieving that. I'd like to say that I sent an intention to go walk, and what I did was I started doing it the first day, and then I got up and just did it the second day. And one of the things that they talk about with habits training is that you have a trigger, something that sets you up to start to achieve. One of the things that lets me know I'm getting ready to walk is putting my shoes on. And my dog knows it too. So when I go to put my shoes on, Roxy, my dog, she starts to prance around and get excited because she knows that we're going to go for a walk. So there's those things that we do to prompt ourselves to start the behavior, and putting the shoes on is part of it. So if you're trying to start a new behavior that maybe feels a little bit bigger, you start with the easy thing. So this is coming from Tiny Habits from BJ Fogg. And he talks about the idea of if you want to go walk, rather than trying to do the whole thing and go out, it's just putting your shoes up. And maybe that's all you do the first day. And maybe the second day you put your shoes out, you put them on. And then maybe you go out and take a walk around the block for the next day. Now that would be too small for me, and I just went out and started walking. But I didn't really have a clear, because how far I'm going to go. I'm like, I'm just going to go up there and do that and come back around. But I started doing it, and I just kept doing it. And then it became a part of my life to walk. And it's more than just walking. It's walking outside. Even though I live in Colorado and the weather gets bad, I just put more clothes on, put more boots on. And sometimes Roxy can't come because she gets too excited and she wants to dance, and it's slick on the ground. And I don't take her because I don't want to fall. But, figuring those pieces out so that you have those smaller steps taken care of and creating the habit for yourself, sometimes that's part of the process. And it's being intentional about creating the habit sometimes. I didn't necessarily have that much intentionality with walking, but it became, again, a ritual for me. So it's a requirement. So when I'm done here, I'll change my clothes, put my shoes on, take Roxy out for a walk. We'll go walk around the neighborhood. I don't have much snow up here. I'm up in Thornton. So I don't have it really bad up here, but I know down south you guys probably have a little bit more stuff going on for you down there. So sorry. Sometimes it hits north and not down south. So there you go. But again, figuring out what those steps are and those behaviors are just going to be helpful to you to create those habits that you want to create. To me, it's about being healthy, and that's one of my biggest goals is what do I need to be healthy? And just, it's more important that you do something consistently than if you do something like over the top. And when people do like, I'm going to exercise, and it's going to be what I'm going to do, then they go to the gym, work out really hard, and then they hurt so bad the next day that they aren't going to go work out anymore. Or they injure themselves while they're doing it. And that's not going to work either, right? So finding that kind of balance in terms of how we're getting that stuff done is really valuable and important here. All right. Anything else, guys?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have completed my process here, and I have shifted myself. So I'm a hypnotist here in Colorado. I am now a behavior modification coach in the real world, in the larger context of the nation. So that's what I focus in on, is how to help people change behaviors and how to make things that they need to achieve in their life be easier for them to get done. So if there's anything I can do to help you with that, you can let me know. But that's my my focus going forward. So let me pop my email address in here for you guys if you need anything. And then
Thank you so much, Shari. A great presentation.
Oh, thank you, honey.
Thank you.
And I have my CAP one as well, which is Shari at Colorado Association of Psychotherapists.org. But that's my personal one. So feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions or anything else I can support you with. And then I will be doing some Facebook Live ones, basically doing the same type of process, although the visualization will be different each time, like slightly. I have an outline, but that's it. All right, guys, thank you so much.